Good evening, it's me again, and I'm here in Melbourne tonight. It's very, very late. I had a really bad 24 hours. I don't really want to get into that though, because today I jumped straight into it. Done a lot of skirting around the bush with astrology. We've talked about the real generalities. So how about tonight we get into something a little beefier? This is a Vedic horoscope. It's funny, this is a chart I actually did today for a lady, for one of my clients here in Melbourne. And it's interesting, I normally print all this stuff off on the computer. Tonight I did it by hand. It's usually quite a good clearing process for you, actually drawing the different planets. As you can see here, we have each of the symbols of the planets, and that's an exercise in concentration that I think paves the way for allowing your intuition to come forth. But as you can see here, the map is square, unlike the Western horoscope, which is circular. And the other interesting thing about the Vedic horoscope is that usually we read the horoscope anti-clockwise, clockwise, and the Vedic horoscope goes the other way. Or if I got that back to front, you'll have to forgive me tonight. I'm sort of looking at this back to front. This way is actually clockwise. So yeah, we're going clockwise on this Vedic horoscope. Here to mark the rising sign or the ascendant, let me just try to get that in picture for you. We normally just mark that with a diagonal line. And we have the 12 squares here, which relate to the 12 signs of the zodiac. This one here, as you can see, is Sagittarius. And in Vedic astrology, we normally just take each of the signs one by one. Each sign relates to one house of the zodiac, and each of these houses relate to a different department in the person's life. Now, to cut to the chase tonight, I talked to this lady, and the chart below is another interesting thing. Along with the birth horoscope, which we have here, the large one, we ordinarily do what's called a harmonic chart, which you can see I haven't focused on tonight. I focus more on the chart for the moment that the lady came to me, and this usually gives me a very clear insight into what's on the person's mind. Here we count 6 houses. The moon, at the moment she arrives for the reading, was in the 6th house of work. Here also her ruling cycle, Mercury, was in the 10th sector of profession. So I boldly declared that her reason for coming to see me had to do with work, changes in work, and the fact that in this last 3 or 4 months of the year, there would certainly be some changes in her work. I predicted to her that she was having some incredibly good fortune in the work, but because the position of Mercury here being really what we call an unfriendly planet to her, that the position wasn't really amounting to much inner satisfaction for her. Anyhow, after I'd spoken for about 10 minutes, she told me that just last week she had resigned from that job. She had been given an office management position, doing very well, earning a lot of money as I predicted, but had to give that away. The way we work it here in Vedic astrology, we have the planets placed in the signs, but here I've marked also what we call the lunar mansion of each of the planets, and this gives us even more fine-tuning, as does the harmonic chart when we want to go into more detail. Below here I've actually marked the life cycles. Each planet is allotted a specific amount of time to rule over your life. And here we also see that the cycle for her completes around the 3rd of September 2009. You probably can't see that. The interesting point I did make was that this planet ruling her career and some of the difficult changes, the elevation or the promotion, but the difficulty emotionally, I predicted would commence around the 21st of June 2008. It was in fact the 1st of July that she was given that new position, and so we weren't too far out with that. Actually, if you would ask her to go back over her diary, she would probably find that the news came through probably a little bit before actually assuming the role. So it's interesting how in Vedic astrology we can get very, very quick assessment of the horoscope, and unlike what I've found anyhow, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot of great Western style astrologers that stick specifically to the process of Western astrology, but I find it's usually quite vague. What I've always attempted to do is to get straight into the specifics. Even if I'm wrong, I say to people, look, I may not be right here. I don't want to cold read people. I want to just get straight in and just let that intuitive process take over. And that's what I recommend to people like yourselves who may be commencing this. The whole process is based on trust. You have to just say what comes to you. Don't let the mind filter what's coming through. And that is really the beauty of Vedic astrology. We have the technique, of course, but as I've always said here in the videos, that is secondary to the inner process of intuition, psychic expression, and that's what I'm trying to bring forth here in these videos. I'm going to stop this particular video, but I'd like to continue because what I've found is that sometimes I go over, I'm not able to give you the whole video, and then we end up with 1 or 2 minutes left over. So let's just complete this one. I want to continue a little more on this. Stay tuned.